Hi, so today I'm going to talk about the planets. So starting at the Sun, the first planet is Mercury. Mercury is our smallest planet and closest to the Sun, but strangely not the hottest planet. Hottest planet is actually Venus. That's because Mercury doesn't really have an atmosphere to speak of, and so it doesn't regulate temperature. When the parts of the planet are out of the Sun, it gets freezing cold. And when it's in the Sun, those areas can be as hot as over 400 degrees centigrade. So although it's not the hottest planet, it does have the biggest range in temperature of a planet. Mercury's been visited by 2 spacecraft already. The next planet is Venus. Venus is almost a sister planet to Earth. It's sometimes referred to as that because it's similar in size and makeup and density as Earth. But Venus has a very thick carbon dioxide atmosphere that has a strong greenhouse effect. So it gets super hot on Venus. It is also the brightest natural light source in the sky next to the moon. So you can clearly see Venus. We refer to it as the morning star or the evening star, depending on where and when you're seeing it. But for us, the evening star, it's normally the first star you see in the sky. The next planet is Earth. I'm not going to tell you too much about that, but very special in many ways, mainly because it can support life. Another thing, Mercury and Venus, neither of them have rings nor moons. Earth has 1 moon, and then the 4th planet is Mars. Mars has 2 small moons. Mars is interesting because it's the most likely to be able to support life. It has a very thin carbon dioxide atmosphere, so we wouldn't be able to breathe there, but we could live there with the appropriate suits and habitats, even if we had to live underground. The gravity is about just over 1/3 of what it is on Earth, so if you jumped on Mars, you could jump 3 times higher. That would be really cool. Mars is interesting because it doesn't have a magnetic field, but we think that it used to. So I told you on Earth the magnetic field protects Earth from solar winds. So maybe Mars had a thicker atmosphere, and because it didn't have a magnetic field to protect it anymore, the solar winds washed away its atmosphere. Mars also has ice, not liquid water that we're aware of, but the polar caps do have frozen water, which is great for considering the fact that we are making a big move to try start colonies on Mars. So those first 4 planets are the terrestrial planets, as in they're made up of rock, and like Earth, they're solid planets. Mars also, we visited or attempted to visit Mars 39 times, but only 16 missions have been successful to date. We then have an asteroid field that is a ring of big chunks of rock called asteroids, and beyond the asteroid field is our next planet, Jupiter. So Jupiter is a gas giant. It's mainly made up of helium and hydrogen. So sometimes we refer to Jupiter as a failed star because it had all the makings of a star, but not enough mass and density and gravity. I told you a star needs that intense gravity to have that fusion process that generates all its power. Nevertheless, Jupiter is really huge. It's over 300 times bigger than Earth. Jupiter is quite famous for its red spot. That red spot is about as wide as 3 Earths, and it's a huge storm that's been raging for hundreds and hundreds of years. We've been watching it over the hundreds of years. Jupiter is the 3rd brightest natural source of light in the sky at night after the Moon and Venus. Jupiter, surprisingly, also has rings. It has 3 ring segments, but they're not very clear and easy to see. Jupiter's been visited 7 times so far by spacecraft and has 67 moons.